Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, there has been off and on news. This has been, of course, a concern that Democrats do have. We got this guy named Henry CUELLAR, and he is absolutely a liability for Democrats, but Democrats won't talk about him. This guy is under indictment, and I believe he was indicted by a grand jury. He is a felon. And he is running for re-election in his state of Texas, the 28th district. In his district, you'll see here, he is labeled a potential challenge. He could drop out because of this, and that's why a lot of people are thinking, if Henry CUELLAR, he is, of course, to drop out. What would it be like? And then again, it's not a good look. This is a district that voted for Trump by over 7 points. This being a very big Democrat district also, this is the last thing you would expect, this district to vote for Trump by 7 points. That means that a Republican absolutely can win in this district. And on top of that, the holder of this district, a Democrat who is a criminal. That is not a good look. And so Republicans have an opportunity of a lifetime to flip this district. And this is a year, 2026, it's going to be a year where Republicans, they need to go on the offensive. Don't go on defense, because the chances are that you're going to end up with the same seats. It's unlikely that you're going to end up with the same seats that you started with in 2024. That's unlikely, mainly because of redistricting. Redistricting purposes, once again, there's also the benefits in Ohio. So I want to really play around with this district map and kind of see the Republicans' chances overall when it comes to winning the House of Representatives, because they do have good chances, despite possibly losing Wisconsin 3, which Democrats are looking to redistrict, which only tells us, guys, why are Democrats doing this all of a sudden? Why did they challenge the court in Alabama? Why did they challenge Louisiana to get a second district? In Alabama to get a second district? And now they're trying to get a third district of Wisconsin. Why are they gerrymandering all of a sudden an off-year census years? Why? Because they know they can't win. Because they don't have their rural districts. They're gone. And history tells us that every single election really, Democrats won mostly because they had rural areas. Okay, I mean, sure, Republicans came out short, but hey, this could be unprecedented. Republicans could sneak out with the House of Representatives a third time, possibly and reliably, because of the fact that Democrats don't have the rural areas anymore. You'll see this is probably an example of a Democrat win without rural areas. 2020, you'll see how close it was. And I've heard people say it was going to be like 2018. Dude, you think you're going to flip Minnesota 7. That's not going to happen. You think you're going to flip back all the Florida seats? And you're going to flip rural Virginia? Nope, not going to happen. So this is cope. They think they're going to win most of Iowa. That's not going to happen. And they think they're going to have a commanding lead like they once had. I will admit, Republicans aren't going to gain a bunch of House seats, and they're not looking to. We realize that, hey, look, Republicans, they're not favored in the House of Representatives. But to be honest, Democrats aren't either. Because you have Democrats stuck at 205 districts. Republicans inevitably will win 208. This is according to 270 to win. But just going through my view, I want to kind of play a role with the House of Representatives, because believe it or not, this CUELLAR news is pretty big, because to be honest, the Democrats, they're just making it worse for themselves. They're giving this story more attention. And I get what they're trying to do. They're saying, oh, look, Republicans may be right when it comes to holding our own accountable, but you're holding someone that absolutely needs to win in 2026, mainly because that seat will determine the majority. Well, let's just say it's Democrats in general in these 2026 races. They need, let's see, 3 races at least to win. We don't necessarily want to count the 2 races specifically because you have this race here. This is going to be Democrat regardless. This is going to be Democrat. So you have the 2025 races that will be decided. So Democrats just need 3 seats. And that's the other thing. I think we need to go around and just say, okay, in this scenario, let's just say Democrats keep their seats. Keep the seats. Let's actually put it to where it is right now. You'll see these are the tossed up seats in the House of Representatives. And you'll see it's going to be 50-50. No, Republicans don't have the upper hand, nor Democrats. And the talks of a blue wave is just, it's not resonating because the map is not in your favor. You think you're going to gain a majority of House seats in the House of Representatives. Well, I can guarantee you, the census is only saying that you have only 20 seats that are deemed compatible. So really, I'm very skeptical on how they are somehow going to pull this off. And we can go over the most vulnerable Republican seats and see, okay, this is the seats that Democrats could get away with and end up winning the House of Representatives. Can they win the House of Representatives? Absolutely. 99% more than the House, but than the Senate, because the Senate's already decided. It's going Republican. They can't change that. They can cope about it, but that coping doesn't change the outcome. So that's important to know. So really, I'm going to have the seats that are too tossed up. Basically, we're going to be ignoring those seats, or we're just going to leave it to the incumbent as of right now. But seats that I feel that are probably likely to go the opposite direction, I'm going to kind of give it to the opposite party. So we'll go ahead and give Evans that seat. 220, yes. So this is the current numbers in the House of Representatives. Democrats, they need 3. Okay, 3. That's it. What seats can they flip? Well, if they're successful in redistricting in Wisconsin, taking Wisconsin 3, there you get 216. Now, let's see. Democrats, they remove Miller Meeks. Miller Meeks is somehow survives a primary challenge, and she is defeated, which would be really bad for Republicans. That seat would go for Democrats. All right, Pennsylvania 10. Scott Perry, he loses his race. Look at that. Democrats hold the House of Representatives. Any other races that are vulnerable? Don Bacon, he could keep running, and he could keep running going undefeated, but if he doesn't run, then it's likely to go Democratic. But ideally, those are pretty much the only races that I think are pretty much at jeopardy. Actually, no, hang on. I colored the wrong one. There we go. These are pretty much the seats that I know for sure are at jeopardy. You have Democrats at 219. That's it. 219. And I can guarantee you, not all of them are going Democratic. Now, let's just say, let's put context in. Let's just say Republicans get away with redistricting. They're successful in redistricting in Ohio, where they will easily win Ohio 9 and Ohio 13. look at that. It's now at 218 for Republicans, even though the most vulnerable seats for the Republicans have all gone to Democrats. Republicans will still win, not by much that they wanted to. Democrats gained a net worth of 2, but Ohio 9 and Ohio 13 dragged them over. Let's just say, okay, CUELLAR is indicted. He's either jailed or they let him run for re-election. Looks like Democrats aren't going to let him get away with that, running for re-election. But still, that's not a good image to be a criminal running for re-election. Oh, the Democrats, they're going to point to Trump. But then again, Trump, name recognition. That's like, I don't know, George Washington getting indicted. In fact, a lot of people would be outraged over that. You can't have a famous person getting indicted. And Henry CUELLAR, no one heard of him before. He's a congressman, but it's not like you go around saying Henry CUELLAR, people are going to know what you're talking about. So, let's just say he loses, sort of like, that's why they kind of took Bob Menendez out. You have, and oh yes, you could have Dan Evans, or whatever his name is, Gabe Evans, not Dan Evans. Gabe Evans losing his seat too. So it's 213 or something like that. You could have Ohio 1 go for that Republican. Don Davis would lose re-election. You could have that Washington district. Marie Perez, although she is pretty popular, so I don't know if would she lose re-election. I don't know. It is a pretty Trumpian district, but that could happen possibly. And let's see, you could, now they're back at the number they wanted, 220. We're back at where we began. You see what I mean? It's going to be a 50-50. So that's why Republicans, they need to go on the offensive in the House of Representatives. They're going to have to let some seats fall, but in the end, they need to erase the Democrats getting a net worth of 3. If they get a net worth of 3, it's over. They can't let that happen. 3 or more. That's what will determine the election. Democrats getting net worth of 3. If they get less than, this is a seat for the Republicans. Also, you could say that Daniel Goldman will lose his seat. That could very possibly be because of course, the huge result in 2024. You had him almost losing his seat, which was pretty extreme. You could have the opposite cocktail effect in California. And depending on where that cocktail effect will locate, you could have some seats like California 49, California 47, surrounding the district of Anaheim in the 46th district. You could possibly walk away with the 27th district back. And it's not just going to be the Los Angeles area. That is probably where that opposite cocktail effect will have the momentum. But you could walk away with the 13th district. Jim Costa's 21st district, you could walk away with that. I'm not necessarily confident with that, but you could walk away with Josh Herter's 9th district. You're now at 27 seats. Democrats are at 208. Okay, and Democrats flip seats. So this is a map with a lot of flips, but Republicans have the advantage now, not by much, but due to the cocktail effect, opposite cocktail effect in California and even in New York, where you could have a lot of people are going to be showing up and voting against Kathy Hochul, and they're going to vote for change because guess what? Voters in New York, they're not running to the polls to stick it to Trump. stick it to Elon, even though Elon probably won't be around during the midterms. But stick it to Elon anyway. No, they're going to stick it to Hochul. They're going to stick it to Mayor Eric Adams. Not going to be in office, but probably Mayor Cuomo. They're going to stick it to, of course, Letitia James, who is more than ever in jeopardy. She is possibly going to do worse than Hochul because she has a target on her back now. It's going to be Republicans that have the momentum in New York. They're the candidates of change in that state. And the likelihood is, hey, look, they could walk away with New York 4. They could walk away with New York 3, take out Tom Suozzi. He did underperform in 2024. You could take back New York 19. You just need to turn out the rural areas more. And there you go. You have Republicans 230. So it could work in favor for Republicans. In fact, Republicans now have the net worth. The net worth is now in their favor. Going back to Texas, though, we talked about flipping possibly Texas 28. Texas 28. Texas 28 is going. What about Texas 34? This is Vicente Gonzalez's seat. And this is a seat that's actually more conservative than the 28th district. And both of these seats went to Trump by very heavily. But I would say that if this seat is going Republican, that there would be some sort of reaction in the 34th seat. If let's just say it's a good year for Republicans in Texas. You got the 34th seat, the 34th district, and the 28th district. Let's just say the Hispanic trends continue to go for Republicans and to their favor. You could see the 34th seat flip alongside 28th seat. I mean, let's be honest. This seat was just tilting Democrat. This seat was leaning Democrat, and a lot of this, and they're only saying it's leaning Democrat because CUELLAR hasn't declared his run. He hasn't said he intended to run. But his let's just see now. The Democrats, they're now his mouthpiece. They're saying don't run. We're going to take money from you. We're going to condemn you. Yada 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 yada. This is just. But then again, very likely they could succeed on that, but that's only going to result to that replacement being demonized by the opponent. I can guarantee you a lot of the people in the 28th district are mad that what CUELLAR did, and they want change. They say, oh, look, the guy, his replacement, the Democratic nominee for this district, he's just being a cover-up for this criminal. That's similar to what happened in the 3rd district in 2024 with George Santos. You had George Santos being convicted. What happened? Well, partly because of a low turnout election. Tom Suozzi swept the 3rd district, a district that Republicans had flipped in 2022, and it was hard for them to give up. But the fact was, George Santos made it really, really bad, and very bad look for Republicans in the 3rd district. And I could say, hey, look, sure that things might be different the other way for Democrats, but just play with that idea. It doesn't matter if this guy runs or if he doesn't run. The tradition usually goes, this is a seat that is has a convicted congressman occupying it, usually goes into the opposite of the convicted congressman's favor. You could use Minnesota last week as an example. Oh, what about that Minnesota senator that his successor was a Republican and she won so much, yada, yada, yada. But I would say that was mostly because of low turnout. Democrats are the low propensity voters in that Senate district. They are likely not to show up. They know the outcome's going to be in the Republican favor, and it's not worth their time. And B, they're just so small. They have no geographical advantage, no major city in that district where Democrats have some gains. They're all Republican cities. So I don't really usually would want to count that. But anyway, this is pretty much our analysis. So it's going to be this district, the 28th District of Texas. It's going to ultimately put the career of Henry Cuellar in jeopardy, and Democrats in their seat in jeopardy. And who knows, maybe the 34th District. Vicente Gonzalez could be thrown out. Let's see. How did Vicente Gonzalez perform? Yeah, it was pretty close. Like 51% to Mayra Flores, 48%. Mayra Flores, did she run in 22? Yeah, she was the incumbent. But I don't think she's running because she lost once. People will just get tired of you if you keep running and running and running and running and running. Let's see if they have declared a run. But no, there hasn't been declared a run for any Republican, but there will be. And if it really goes into the Republicans' favor in the 28th district, then I would assume it would go into the Republicans' favor in the 34th district. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I will see you all in the next political episode.